I'm Taylor Goodyear with Social Exchange.
And I'm Tyler Gallo with Erbe Collective.
And you're listening to the Pursue Vegas podcast.
And the idea of Pursue Vegas was to really highlight the local people that really make Vegas, Vegas.
I love that aspect of how these visionaries are actually bringing people together.
When we hit record, our responsibility is to connect the people of our city so we can show the world who we really are. Welcome back to the Pursue Vegas podcast. I'm your host, Dave Berlin.
And I'm your co-host, Tawny Wynn.
And should we tell them?
Oh my God, should we?
We are absolutely excited. I say that to everybody, but I'm doubly excited because you are the first double guest that we've had on the show. I want to welcome Tyler Gallo and Taylor Goodyear. What is happening, folks? How's it going?
Hey, Dave, how's it going?
So excited to be here.
Everyone.
I do.
So we try to amp it up every single time, and I'm like, then now we're gonna be on the roof, gargoyle fucking energy, you know.
By the end of season 14, people are just gonna not even listen.
It's like Dave's always excited. Maybe
I'm too excited.
We should switch it up. Be like, I'm uber depressed today.
I'm borderline. I'm borderline psychotic today. No, I'm very excited. Thank you guys so much for coming in. Part of what we do here on the show is we always want to find the incredible people that make Vegas, Vegas. And you guys have been hand-selected for two reasons. One, first of all, you always come as a duo, which I love, right? Two, we've done some pretty cool stuff together. And I was really excited to bring you guys in so I could figure out what are you excited about and what brought you here? Why Vegas?
Well, I came to Vegas for the hospitality and the events that are in the city. If you think about it, there's really no better place to be. And I graduated from Kent State with a hospitality and event degree, and just exploring my options after college. Why not Vegas?
Yeah, and when did you get here?
I got here in 2019, so I've been here for a decent amount of time, and I really love it here.
Yeah, you've hit I got here right before you. I got here right here at the end of 2018. And then, Tyler, what about you?
I actually moved to Vegas in 2015 after living in Southern California. And it definitely, that's the environment out there. No, but Vegas wasn't the plan. It just kind of happened. There was a job opening here, and I took a COO position and moved to Vegas and thought, you know what, I'm going to make the most out of it. And I am now, I think, a local. So I'm very much in love with the city and what we create here and the people that we get to create it with, like yourself.
I love that.
Was it 5 years that you become a local?
Yeah, it varies for everybody. So, yeah, there's sometimes it's you've done a certain amount of things.
Or enough people know you. If you know enough of the 50 people that we know, it's you're a local.
Yeah, that's been the joke. Yeah. There's 2 million people here and we know all 50.
Yeah.
Apparently it's 200, so I think we got to up our game because we're at a quarter right now.
Yeah, right. No, so there's two incredible things that I've witnessed in the short term, but also recently. But we were just trying to figure it out in the green room before we started. I was like, where did we actually meet? Yeah. And it was during Global Entrepreneurship Week, shameless plug, November. But this was 2023, right? Was it 2023 or 2024 or 2022? It was 2023. Yeah, I get that because we're in a new year. I'm not going to say what date it is. Because we're in a new year, I get it mixed up. But it was 2023, and literally all the events that were going on that week, everyone kept saying you have to meet Taylor Goodyear. And we have a mutual friend, Edgar. He was like, "Oh my gosh, you've got to meet Taylor Goodyear." And I was like, "Fine." And then I think I tried to figure out how to connect. And then one day, it was during Global Entrepreneurship Week. It was that Saturday, and we were at Taverna Costera. And I was like, you were talking to somebody, and somebody's like, "Hey, Taylor," and I was like, "Taylor Goodyear?" And you're like, "Yes," and I was like, "I'm supposed to meet you," and I'm pretty sure we've been homies ever since.
History from there.
Yeah, history from there. So,
least quickly way possible.
talk about all the things that you've been working on. How did Social Exchange come about, and what are you really excited about?
Yeah, no, great question. So I started Social Exchange in July of 2022, and I was just really, really passionate about bringing people together. So right before I started the business, essentially what I was doing, my friend Delaney and I, we would just kind of bounce around town, and we would host meetups. And they were really well received. And I mean, at first, there really wasn't too much to them either. So essentially, we'd put an Instagram story up of the venue that we'd be at. We'd be like, hey, we're all going to be here this time, this date. This is what's going on. Like, come network, come hang out. And yeah, basically at first it was me kind of meeting her network and her connections and everyone that was, in her world, and then vice versa. So she was meeting everyone that was kind of like in my world at that time. And yeah, I just really, really grew to love that experience, love doing that, and just continued hosting events and popping up at different places. And then I was able to meet just tons of different like business owners from just downtown, like pretty much all over the valley, and just really connected with everyone and found different ways to work together, different ways to grow together. I do marketing for a handful of businesses around town as well, and just kind of, I did my best to bring the different communities and so we could all grow and just really find out, how we could make Vegas better.
You've done a phenomenal job, and it's interlocked so many cool circles. And one of the great business owners you met is this guy.
Yeah, and actually, so Tyler and I met at Taverna as well.
Oh.
And
Taverna's quite the spot.
Is that the spot? Taverna Costera?
It's downtown in the Arts District.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's where they do Tech Alley.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, that was the event we met at during GEW, was I think the Tech Alley experience they were
told me
doing.
to go to the tech church.
Yeah.
They didn't do Tech Alley.
The Tech Church.
Yeah.
They're like, there's a tech church downtown. I'm like,
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Absolutely.
all right. They're like, we meet every, I don't know, third of the
third
month
Saturday.
or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that sounds
awesome.
cool.
Yeah. So, Tyler, tell me about what you're working on, because I know now there's all these overlapping circles of what you guys are doing together. Mm-hmm. But what was fascinating was you introduced me to a whole world that I'm still not technically a part of yet.
I think you got hazed actually last Sunday.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
I did. That was that's a separate conversation. I'll tell you all about that, because
We're working on it.
We don't want to get into it.
Yeah. No, it's I think just what's been amazing about the journey to get to sitting here today is that when Taylor and I met, social exchange, that keyword exchange, connected us, because her mentality was that she was there to work and represent Taverna Costera as an event coordinator. Mm-hmm. And as that event coordinator, she was getting music and different activations going on through social exchange and allowing this restaurant venue to be more than the footprint that it sat in downtown. Mm-hmm. And Erbe Collective, just selfless plug, it means the heritage. It's German because it's where the first car was actually conceptualized. And so Erbe Collective, we bring the car culture together through our stories. So even though you were getting picked on a little bit, I know you still have a car story. Yeah. We all do. And so when I reached out to Taverna Costera, I was looking to bring Fuel Run, which is a automotive rally that comes from California. They do 4 a year. And so I put in an inquiry online. I hadn't heard back from anybody, and all of a sudden Taylor's on the other line calling me saying, hey, I hear you want to do a car show with us. We would love to have you guys. We're looking for something different. And so she invited me by. We kept missing each other timeline-wise. And just one day I popped in on a Sunday, and here she is just working away, a little busy bee as she is. And we sat down, we talked for 4 hours, and we planned out this amazing experience, and we brought $5 million worth of cars to downtown in the Arts District, and we hosted a great breakfast, and we just started working together ever since. And it has blossomed into a life-changing experience, and I'll leave it at that.
It's great.
Like, keep going.
It's. I love the way you set that up, because, well, first of all, when you say $5 million worth of cars, now you have to say the number of cars, because at the last event that you had one event that was like more than $5 million, or like one car that was like more than $5 million.
Yeah, there was one car that was.
It's like we had one car in the Arts District.
And that's the fascinating part about the car culture and the car community is that it connects you to any part of life, wealth, experience, luxury, journeys that you want to go on. And so for Taverna, for Fuel Run, they basically have about 70 cars. And the reason that we ended up getting to roughly that $5 million mark is that there was a Kona Seg, which is a very expensive car. It was about $3 million. And then there was probably about 65 other cars that added up to the total, but very intimate experience, nothing public. It was something just to host those drivers for their breakfast. Taylor absolutely killed it by making sure that the team at Taverna understood that we were coming in outside of their typical hours, that they were hosting a very unique gathering of people. And it actually ended up, we found out later that year that it actually ended up getting Taverna into Barrett Jackson's magazine of hot places to be in Las Vegas.
Wow.
And so it's just amazing through what you can do with social exchanging and how you can connect. And really that's the car world speaks to people through cars and being in a parking lot or being in a venue, but by partnering with Taylor, it has opened up that hospitality elevated experience that I've always wanted with cars. But as a car guy, I kind of get pigeonholed into just wanting to go fast. Yeah. And really it's about slowing down and enjoying the experience. Like you said, there's a $6 million car. How often do you get to just hang out with the owner of a $6 million car, especially when he pulls his little dog out of the passenger seat?
Yeah.
So the fastest dog in the parking lot, mind you. Yeah. So it's an amazing experience for what we create and the people that we get to meet, because without that event, I wouldn't know you, Dave.
Yeah, that's true. So. Well, and so I want to hit on this because I think it's not going to just be cool for the conversation, but it's also going to resonate with a lot of the people listening. And what really kind of sparked my interest in it. First, I like cool cars, right? I do. But like you made it more of an experience that made me feel like I belong, and that's that everyone has a car story. Can you kind of paint that picture of like how everyone does have a car story?
Sure. So I'm going to focus on you because you get to play along. So I've actually made this bet many a times in a business meeting. It has nothing to do with cars. But tell me a time and a place that you can remember, a make, model, potentially the year of a vehicle that you have a fond memory about. You have to have one. Everybody does.
I was like,
she's the first person, first person that doesn't have one.
I know. I was like, is this like a legal story?
Your first car,
drift story?
It could be your first car. Like it could be a car that you had when you were in high school. Like it could be.
Oh yeah, and I had many. Because I've stolen multiple cars from my friends to learn how to drive a stick shift before I was 16. And then when I got in my mom's Camry and like started driving, I was like, what the hell is a Prindo? Because I learned on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I went in like this car, and then she was like, oh, like started driving. So that's probably not a good story. Because I said I stole a car.
It, though, is that, so what was that car that you said you got in?
350Z. There's a couple Integras. Yeah, so... Some Acuras. I know that was the ABG days because Southern California, so all the coffee shop boys and girls. One of my dream cars used to be like Skylines and R33s, which now my friend Brian, he was probably at your event. He has a white Skyline. So one day he showed up to do a podcast. I could hear it like drive in front of the Certain Club, and he pulled up. So I expect an Asian guy to come out of it, and my friend is white as fuck, and he like pops out on the right side, and he comes out, and I'm like, Brian? He's like, yo, like, this is my car. I just got it shipped from Long Beach. And then that's what he talks about on the podcast. So, yeah, that's probably the car I can remember recently that is not illegal.
No, and so exactly what you just did is what Dave's referring to, is that I create a reason for you to bring that memory back to the surface. And so now, whether it's Brian, which I think I know exactly who you're talking about at Gears and Grinds, however, if you were walking through our events and you saw a white Skyline, whether it was an R32, 33, or 34, now there's 35, it's going to be something that you feel like you're already connected to that person, even if you don't know them. And so what we do is we take the culture of cars and we bring people together through the journeys that they take us on. And so whether it's your first car, the car that you were in with your dad, the first time you were in an accident, every single time somebody's like, I'm not sure if this is a good story, they laugh, they remember a moment, they take that second to just step back. I had a conversation with a lady the other day, and she goes, thank you so much. You just reminded me of how happy I had times with my father. And it was a moment for her to be able to express to me something that she hadn't thought of in a while. And so we use our automotive events, because obviously I don't have a chance to speak to everybody, try to to let them speak to each other, allow people to bring their passions out. I love that you just referred to the fact that a JDM car, Japanese Domestic Motors, is something that you would expect an Asian guy to get out of. Because that's the unique thing about the car culture, is that it is absolutely the most diverse melting pot of community and people and purpose that anybody, even a kid, can walk up, and that's my favorite part, is that kiddos can see a real Hot Wheel in life size, and they can sit in that vehicle and have that moment that lasts a lifetime, that pushes them and drives them. And so that car culture is something I'm really glad. Without it, I wouldn't be sitting here.
Yeah, well, the other cool thing is on the one whole side, they have all the Hot Wheels and stuff.
So you get your dream car in micro size, and that way you're like, you know what, at least I feel like I'm getting closer.
Yeah,
That's
that's probably where I should start then. Next time you guys have one, I'll need to come by and just like sit over there and like go pick one out first, and then you could build it for me, and then I could be in your club.
There you go.
I feel like it should be an Overlander. I feel like we'd see
Mitsubishi 3000 GT.
that you could pop a podcast out of the back.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, like
No.
I'm totally all for the camping and the overlanding thing. I didn't know that was a whole niche before I met my partner, because he's like, we go overlanding. I'm like, what the hell does that mean?
Nice.
He's like, oh, we go rigs, and I'm like, you're just dropping like jargons and jargons on me. He's like, just get in my
Just
truck.
because you
We're
say it
going
louder
camping.
doesn't make me understand
Yeah, and
it
I was
any
just like, can you talk to me like I'm a third grader?
Yeah.
But before I bought my practical car, I had a 2-seater, which also a hybrid. I decided to do something, in California.
What kind of car do you have?
So much.
I'm just kidding.
I have a bicycle.
Yeah.
I was a Mini Cooper girl because, the Italian Job, once I saw that movie, I actually almost drove off the lot with it, stick shift and everything. It was fucking yellow. It was awesome. It was like my dream, 25-year-old girl car. And then I realized, I'm like, I live in California and I drive to LA almost every single day. So if I was like clutching, my shin would blow up. So that's why I went with the other direction and got a practical car, which is a hybrid that can actually fit people. That's not a 2-seater.
Yeah.
Because I got railed in that 2-seater off of the side of Malibu, right into the country club. So anyway, so my mom's like, you need to get a bigger car. I'm like, okay, from a 2-seater, I got a 4-seater. She was like, okay, that's not big enough. But so,
She wants you in a tank.
Yeah, right.
That's
Yeah.
what it is, yeah.
Now
So
you're in a
now-
Ram 1500.
so now I'm going to buy the tank with the sniper.
Yeah.
And that's the part about this car culture that I just love, is that you can just continue to keep developing the conversation. And what has always been the hard part on my side is that as a automotive brand, people think that it has to do simply with the car. And as a guy trying to host events and elevate the hospitality of it, it is much easier when you have a partner in crime that is actually designed, like her business, everything about it is about elevating the hospitality experience. And so for us, that's where that symbiotic relationship just started, is that it's like, look, we have the space with Taverna, we have the cars to put them in there, but without that hospitality element, they're just driving cars, and the nice thing about a car is if you don't like a restaurant or an experience, you get in it, you never go back.
Yeah.
But the experience of Erbe Collective and Social Exchange combined actually has allowed us to now host that event 2 years in a row with the same group. They requested to go back. And what's nice is that, and I'll use this as we have this boy girl kind of setup, is that most of the time guys are expected, just like, our buddy Rick was giving you a little grief.
A little?
He's a boisterous one.
Yeah.
But when it comes to
was
this, guys
fun.
are kind of expected to kind of be car guys,
Yeah.
and women are supposed to not
Yeah.
be. But when it comes down to it, the happiness that even with Taylor being around cars, Gears and Grinds was something that I invited her to because I thought, as a community organizer, this is a community that you might be able to do something with. And it's a piece of our whole lives that I feel like a lot of women feel excluded from. But at the same time, it's something that brings so many people together. And I love the fact that the hospitality element is now more than ever a focus of the growth of our businesses. And we love to be an example of people that can work together, supporting each other's brands and businesses. We love startups, but we love being able to bring this network of people that is completely new and different to their ecosystem to be able to support their small business. And that's truly here in Las Vegas. Pursuing Vegas is to truly support those like us that are out there grinding every single day. And if we decide to wake up early on a Sunday morning, we want to go and hang out with the right people that are not only nice, but inspiring and connected.
Well, and speaking of that, you've been doing the Gears and Grinds for a couple years now, right? And so that's the first and third Sunday of every month. You can pretty much
like
always
Cafe 86?
set your clock to that.
So I love that you know all these little things. So Cafe 86 is they do focused like JDM type events, mostly with the Toyota or Corolla 86, AE86. But we're at Baguette Cafe. And so we're right by IKEA off Sunset.
That's what Brian told me, yes. And he was like, this is probably way too far from your house.
It's so
I'm like,
worth
yes,
it.
it is.
Every excuse that anybody's ever had about not making it, whether it's too early, to this, to that, the first time they come is the first time that they don't stop coming.
Yeah, you could drive fast on the Autobahn to get there. You just get to drive really far.
In hybrid. I love the hospitality aspect, and especially including women, because when you think women in JDM, you just think of the atmosphere models that, like,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
lays on top of it,
Yeah.
for lack of better terms. And that's kind of like the career that has led a lot of girls into the car scene. And that's where they stay. They don't really grow much from it. They don't get business from it, because I feel like that's kind of the stagnation between mixing hospitality with car guys. Because if you didn't have hospitality, it's just a bunch of car guys standing around like, hey, nice car.
Right.
And like they wouldn't
Definitely.
talk to each other, right? Because people need kind of like guidance and somebody to initiate and to open them up a little bit, to be like, hey, you know, kind of like if you show up to an event and like there's no instructions and you're just kind of like
Oh, you
like
end
for
up,
like 2
yeah.
minutes, you're like, I'm awkward, I'm going to leave.
Yeah. Well, and that's been where all of it connects, right? Is the events that you guys have not only done, because you've been doing that for a long time, but then now the events that you guys have collaborated on and where it's all crossed over. And that's even spawned other businesses and other projects like shameless plug, right? The social studios. Right, I had the first event there.
We did.
It was my
birthday.
We had we had like a boombox photo booth and everything. It was great.
Yeah,
You weren't
it was
invited because I didn't know
incredible.
you yet.
I was like,
But no,
I'm
like,
super
so
offensive.
what are some of the projects that have happened since the time that you guys have met and started working together?
Yeah, I mean, I would say probably one of the larger ones that we've worked on is we've done an event called the Paddock Featured Showcase, and that is at Starbase. And that event, it's incredible. We have such an amazing time putting that together because, we get to bring in so many different businesses to that event. So another plug, Choice Sound.
Yeah.
We love working with Choice Sound. But they
Shameless
provide,
plug.
they provide an amazing like DJ atmosphere. So we have some really incredible music that plays in the background. Das Erbe curates 13 cars, up to 13. Sometimes we'll do a little bit less, just depending on what the kind of vibe is, what the theme is. But yeah, bringing in just different people to all come together and meet. One of our last events that we did there, we brought in Sin Loco. So the activity was essentially when you got there, you'd get a little social exchange card. And this card had basically like a number on it, and then throughout the crowd you had to go and mingle and connect, and you had to find the other person who had that card as well. And then once you found your match, you got to go to the Sin Loco booth, and then you could redeem it and you would get matching permanent jewelry. So
Oh, cool.
yeah,
it's like, you know, the warrior hearts where it gets like separated and like,
I mean, yeah.
why?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, my long lost brother or something.
Yeah,
And you finally see each other and it's like, oh.
Yeah.
exactly. And like the thing that's so incredible about that is you have no idea who's going to have that other card. So
Yeah.
one, you're meeting new people. Two, you're talking to them, you're connecting with them, and then you get to, actually exchange it for something that you get to take with you and always remember that experience by.
Yeah.
I was at that experience.
You might
Not
have
a-
been.
I think so. You were DJing.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
was, oh,
You
okay.
did
I was like,
cars
this sounds
inside, yeah.
really familiar.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, it's like you were saying, like you
love
end up
that.
someplace and you feel like there isn't like a program, like you're not really sure what to do, and you just kind of walk in.
Yeah.
And we've all been to the networking experiences where everybody's just kind of in their own network.
Yeah.
And so we just naturally want to bring people in and help them make those social connections. And so having those experiences, I'll tie it back to the social studio. We hosted an event for one of our sponsors as just a networking meet and greet. And Taylor came up with this great idea to where when you walked in, you were welcomed with a rose. And on that rose, there was a handwritten card that she wrote every single one of them. And it was something inspiring. And the idea behind it is that when you picked it up, it picked you up by giving you some sort of, positive message. But then the goal is that you wanted to find somebody that you felt you wanted to exchange that with. And so you would give them that rose. And so although it was, a micro experience that we really didn't have to have much activation behind, it allowed people to organically engage in a way that made them feel like they were creating part of the experience themselves.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a big thing about Las Vegas is so many people don't feel like they belong. They don't know really what the focus is. They also look at it like the Strip is, the city, and it's the industry. It's not the city. And the people that are in this city, whether it's 12 or 200 that we all may know, what we just love to do is whatever the space is. We just did National Rubber Ducky Day, and I'll segue to our national social holidays that we're going to be doing each month with Social Exchange to bring people together to have that moment of, hey, I have time and I want to go do something valuable with it, so let's go meet great people that there really isn't an expectation. It's not, hey, can I have 3 referrals? It's, hey, I made a great new friend and maybe we'll be able to work together or at least go and have a, bite or meet new people. And so everything about our social studio is it's our office that we work out of every day. But to your point, Dave, it's a place that we can celebrate a birthday party. We've had, men's groups where men are coming in and they're being guided to exchange with one another in a way of opening up as alpha males with a friend of ours that we actually met from your birthday.
Yeah.
And, so it's...
The connection is crazy, just how it
I've got
keeps
one for
going
you.
And it keeps flowing.
Yeah, I've got one for you, too.
So and with to your point with Starbase, like the beauty behind that relationship is that we're here to support people's ambitions, no matter how small or how big they are. It's just whether or not they're willing to be supported by the team that we bring to the table, which, having you by our side, Dave, has been amazing, and so it's really great to be here with you and, seeing this podcast. It's fantastic.
Well, so it's fun when you talk about Starbase because one of the first big fans of the whole idea of what Pursue Vegas is supposed to be was Melissa Dot. And when this was years ago when they were doing a Sunday brunch there, brunch activation 2022 was whenever I first met or first hosted an event there or helped with an event. And it's just that's taken off. But even somebody this is the funny thing. I love that you mentioned Kirsten, who we've got to have her on the show at some point too. But I saw something on one of your posts from Social Studios, and I started following Haley. So we've actually had her on the show. I'd never met her
Haley
in person.
Brooks.
Yeah, Haley Brooks.
Way.
I saw her on your thing, and I think I reached out to you, and I was like, hey, I love her. She's really funny. And then I was like, I want to have her on the show.
Yeah.
And then randomly, I've been following her, and this has been a while, a couple weeks ago, I saw her post, and I was like, hey, just come on the show. And I was like, we've never met. And it's so funny because we had never met. And then now, not only that, since she's come on the show, I went to a couple of her different activations at Area 15.
Yeah.
And now I'm already introducing people that are trying to break into the comedy circuit to her and through her. So like you said, it's just
That's
it's
incredible.
all
That
layered.
episode was wild.
Yeah.
Probably gonna get us canceled.
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
No, that I don't.
No, but I love the
I think there's so
organic
many
side.
things that could get us canceled, but that almost got us kicked out of the studio. She's
me and her
awesome,
together.
but it
Oh
was
my
it's loud,
Good.
and I was like, we're gonna get in trouble.
No, but I
But
love
it was
that
so
side
funny,
because
yeah.
for people that networking has a little bit of a bad reputation in this town just because the churn and burn rate of people just coming there having strong expectations about how many cards they can give out versus how many pitches they can do. And
Right.
for me, I'm I don't like being pitched. So I don't talk to people. I'm kind of like you, kind of like a cat, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's I'm just going to chill and maybe you approach me, maybe I'll look at you, I won't make eye contact. You've seen how
Or you'll just make awkward eye contact, and just.
And so I kind of like a sniper until I find the one person. I'm that's it. I'm going to shoot my shot and go for it. But other than that, sometimes I come home and I have not today, but a coat full of cards. And I'm who are these people? I don't remember the interaction with them. And I just have their card because it doesn't make it to the purse. The purse is where the important things go. The pocket is kind of where if it's gone, it's kind of gone. And I love that you brought that up, that there's something for people to remember. Because now I kind of remember Paddock and having ice cream there with the Liquid Death guy.
Yeah.
See, I have a memory. I'm very
I love
memory
that.
driven.
Yeah.
So
That's
I'm just
incredible.
I remember that song. And because there was a truck in the back with the camper.
Yep.
So Dennis was geeking out over
Yeah.
that. So,
Oh,
you know, us as
awesome.
campers,
You were
we're
there
like,
for our
looking at
summer
rigs.
show.
Yeah, that was the
Yeah.
June showcase.
Yeah, so we're always like maybe we can bring some rigs together and like, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
maybe
so
we can.
cool.
That could be
That's
the next
exactly-
thing.
Yeah, and we really do. We try and keep things organic. You don't like being pitched. I personally don't even really like pitching. So I try and just, build a connection with someone and just really develop that relationship. And like that's the focus. That's the goal. And I think that's why we have so many incredible people like around us and in our community.
There's two funny stories that I have on the whole pitching thing, and I'm only going to talk about one of them because it just happened today.
Oh shit! I was gonna.
Oh boy.
And we try to keep the anonymity, right? For like, because some of these episodes will kind of roll out at different times, and who knows, this person might be listening. But we were at an event, and sometimes there's that awkward exchange where it's like, I think I know this person, I might not.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then,
okay. I know.
and then she was like, hey, and I was like, she's like, what do you do? And of course I said a lot because I do. And she goes, oh, I'm in mortgage lending. And then she like gives me her pen. It's got her phone number on it. And then she's like, here's my card. And I was like, oh, cool. How long have you been doing that? And I'm trying to give her the best I can. I'm going to give you a way out. And she's like, oh yeah, I do this and this and that. Never asked me any questions. And then it came down to, I could probably help you out. And I go, then I would be cheating on you. And she goes, why? And I said, because my girlfriend is actually a mortgage lender and she works with veterans. And then I like texted my friend, Caitlin. I was like, hey, I just told somebody you were my girlfriend. I need you to pretend that you are. But the funny thing there is that like she never asked me anything. She just immediately assumed. But like that scenario could have been real. And like, yo, my girlfriend's a veteran and she does veteran home loans. Like, back off.
This is before we ate the plate.
Yeah.
Meter.
Yeah,
Where was it?
we were sitting in the back of the presentation.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah, but it's just one of those things where a lot of times people don't ask and they just assume. The other story I will say, I was at a networking event. I don't want to name it but it rhymes with B&I, right? So you like that? That's one of my jokes for my keynote. But this woman, I was a guest. She obviously recognized. I was talking to a beautiful young lady about books, which is my favorite thing to talk about. And I was having a great conversation, and this woman walked in. And it's almost like she could tell I was a guest, and walked right over and stood in between us. And she was like, "Hi, you must be new. Here's my card, and this is what I do." And I was like, "Oh, okay." I was like,
wow.
And she's like, what do you do? And I was like, I travel all over the country so I can visit things like this and get interrupted by people like you. And she just looked at me like, did this fucking guy just say that to my face?
And you're like, yes, absolutely.
And then
I
she
did.
goes, well, here's a stack of my cards to give to your friends and you can tell them what I do and now you're a referral source for me. And she walked off and I was just like, I will never come back to a B&I event ever. But it's like, again, that's how, like, that's why you two are here. Not because, that's because it's the polar opposite.
Those
you
are the
guys,
cards I use to pick my teeth.
Yeah.
When I have nothing else, like a floss in my purse.
Yeah.
I'm openly saying that it's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm openly saying that. Well, I'll give you that woman's card. No.
Like a whole stack, actually.
I'll give you I got a whole stack. I feel like I should just keep them in my bag just in case I ever see that woman. Be like, hey, I wanted to give you these back.
Those start to feel a little bit more like support groups. And I feel like, I mean, even in my experience in sales, being told by managers and mentors that, oh, you need to go out and, get your business cards out. It's the at-bats and all that. It just felt so disingenuous, and it always just felt like everybody was like just waiting to cry on each other's shoulders. And at the same point, it's like there are a few diamonds in the rough, literally in the rough, when it comes to some of those. And it really is something that Taylor and I are very specific when it comes to how we operate, is that the intention is yours.
Yeah.
It's not ours. We are here because we are welcomed into a venue that we are a fan of, that we enjoy, that we want people to know that, hey, I've never been here. Like, our studio is right next to Atomic Liquor, and I feel like it is an absolute staple of this city. And for people that even have grown up in Las Vegas, which I understand until you're 21, you probably aren't going to get in there.
Yeah.
But
You still know where it's at.
you should know where it's at. And
absolutely.
so many people that we take in there are like, I've never heard of this. I've never been here. Did this just open? And it's like, what's the hole that you live in? Like, do you ever go down?
That's
have you
me.
been
Yeah.
there?
Oh, no.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, you never know. Oh, yeah.
Oh my God!
We'll
I can feel
take
you
it.
look at me too when he was like, "What hole do you live in?" I'm like, "Hi."
He's like, stop it, Tyler. Stop talking.
It's
You're
me.
offending her.
Oh no, keep going.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know what hole I live in, but apparently I don't know where that's at.
Yeah.
But that's the part is that we have so many people like Richard, a mutual friend that we
Richard's
met through.
out.
Yep.
Yes, Richard Zhao.
And it's like he's come to so many events, and it's so interesting because he's not really out to network for his business. He's out to network for himself and to
That's
introduce.
how I met him. Was at Paddock.
Yeah.
Not because I
Exactly.
met him. It was
Love
actually
that.
because he told Dennis he liked his hair in front of the men's bathroom.
That makes sense. That
And it
sounds
was
like
really
Richard.
funny.
They kinda
He
look
came
alike.
up,
That's
And he
racist.
came up, he was like, "Hey, bro, like, nice hair." And he was like, "What?" I was like,
You're like, did a guy just compliment
Yeah.
me? Like, am I supposed to feel attractive now, or am I feel uncomfortable?
Yeah,
but that's how we met Richard. Was at your apparently now it's your guys' event,
Yeah.
but it's not even like I introduced myself. It
Yeah.
was Richard coming up and he's like, "Hey, bro, nice hair," and I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, and Richard is genuinely just so nice.
Yeah.
And he's
I met him
just
at your studio.
incredible. I love that. But yeah, he's just pouring out love. He is pouring out compliments, like always trying to connect people.
Yep.
And those are the people. Like, we love those people.
We need those people here. And I think
do.
that's the interesting thing. Again, this is just one of those to break some of those belief barriers about what people think Las Vegas is. There are a lot of those things, but there's so much more, right? There's so many incredible people that we all came here from a different place, right? Or not everyone, but a lot of people came here with a whole world of connection behind us.
Yeah.
And we all came here to find out who we are and find out, who our people are in the here and now. And I think it just kind of unlocks all of those circles. And that's been one of the really fun things about working with you guys and all the stuff through here, because we also, you guys helped, you guys were instrumental in a lot of the stuff for that whole next year. When it came to Global Entrepreneurship Week. So it's been, it really has been phenomenal. And then all the work with Choice Sound and all that stuff. And we're just getting started. We are just getting started.
But I do have to ask something, is that in this industry, in hospitality itself, especially in Vegas, is very saturated, and I feel like it's very wide, but it's also very niche. Like, what are some of the challenges that you guys are facing as like community leaders and like some people doing events in this town?
Oh, get real.
That's a good question.
I'm just going to dive right in and say, getting into the meat of the bones, I feel like Taylor and I bring sustenance to the experience versus it just being a facade. Like, don't just come and hang out at a bar because it costs $150 to be here, so there must be important people. It really is like being in the right places. Some of our favorite experiences have been grand openings for small bars and restaurants, and the network of people that are just, their bloodline in this city is so important, and not so many people know about them. I feel like GEW was something for us in that first year. Getting local support, it was kind of like, what's this next thing? Like, it was a widget to a lot of people that we talked about, but the people that were truly involved knew that they were making a difference, and we just had to stay consistent with it. And so I think this city is used to people turning and burning, so they don't have to have that longevity. And I do feel like that's something that Taylor and I want to embody with everything we do, is it's not just for us. And so I think a big thing that we have to overcome with social exchange is people are like, why are you doing this? Like, we get that
All
question.
the time. All the time.
Yeah.
It's almost like, what's the catch?
Yeah.
Or when's the other shoe going to drop?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And a lot of our socials and events, they're free. So it's not like we're making, that's not what's making us money. That's not what's like doing it.
Yeah.
But we genuinely do just love what we do so much, and we do love bringing people together. And the downtown community just has such a special place in my heart. Your heart as well. We love downtown. Like, we love the small businesses. We love helping the owners, like connecting with them, and just getting creative and like finding different ways to bring new activations and just keep it interesting.
Speaking of new activation, I got to give you guys praise for this, because when you're talking about downtown, we're all in that resonance of Tony Hsieh, right? And all the amazing things that he brought with Zappos. But I like to think that I'm not picky. It's all about quality. And like, one of the last times that I really said like, wow, was what you guys did for Halloween. Can you talk a little bit about the Halloween activation and how that kind of all came came together with there on Fremont with Corner Bar and all that stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. You want to dive into that?
I think the biggest focus is I always like to pay attention to where the seed started, and I really started with you two. Without Taylor having a relationship with Mauricio in the past, hosting her original Downtown Exchange brunches, without Choice Sound being there and being a part of it, which, plug on you being a DJ and being the reason why we really were able to work more with Choice Sound and meet Sean in more depth. I think that it took all of that time. I think we've had countless meetings about creating ideas to work with Corner Bar. And for anybody that's going to be watching this that's not familiar with Corner Bar, they basically own the beginning part of Fremont Street from Las Vegas Boulevard to 6th Street.
Yeah, Park on Fremont, Disco Pussy, Cheap Shot. What's that?
I said, hey, watch it.
Hey, watch it.
They're
Cheap
kind of a big
Shot, We All Scream, La Mona Rosa,
Laundry Room.
Lucky Day, Laundry Room, Commonwealth.
Yeah.
New projects
Just
on the
keeps
horizon.
Yeah.
And so to have the opportunity to work alongside, grassroots people like Ryan and Mauricio that have just grown an opportunity in this city to what it has been, we were called on because of that relationship to partner with them for their Freaks on Fremont event. And so essentially, Mauricio had this idea to shut down Fremont Street from Las Vegas Boulevard to 6th Street and bring out an art car and then allow essentially the locals to have a Halloween festival outside for the night. And he, was trying to figure out how do we put something in the street. And so luckily him and I had a great conversation actually during Melissa Dott's birthday. We had such a good time. For what little I remember of the conversation with Mauricio, he was like, we're doing car stuff together. And so a couple months later, we hosted our first paddock reserved event at Park on Fremont as a little trial run. Ryan had come out with his beautiful Bronco. And the next thing we know, they go, you're our partners. We want to host this event and we want cars on Fremont Street. You'll be the first group, Das Erbe, to put cars on Fremont for a shutdown. What can you do for us? And it went from 5 cars to 25 cars back down to 10 cars. But what I really like to do is curate the experience. So it wasn't just, a right-hand drive Skyline because I can get one. It was finding a hearse. It was bringing out the Star Wars, land speeder. It was finding a yacht that is essentially a Cadillac, but it basically was a yacht because, the captain of the Titanic was actually, he was the one sailing the Cadillac, and that was his costume that night. And thankfully, Taylor here's sitting here going, what are we going to be? What are we going to be? And she picked out the ringleader outfits for us. And so here we are. We roll in on Fremont on Halloween night. Thankfully, Corner Bar and Jolene had all of the organization put together for us to seamlessly roll in with our studio, the social studio, being right down the road on Fremont and 9th. We were able to welcome all of our drivers to come and hang out, get to know each other, network, but now rally as one unit behind the art car. And here we come rolling in on Fremont to open up the Freaks on Fremont event. And it was absolutely phenomenal. The teamwork, from security to the bar staff to the waiters and waitresses over at Park on Fremont, I know their heads were absolutely spinning. I like to say it felt like there were 10,000 people, but according to a couple different reports, it's 6,000, 8,000. All I know is that from what we were told from Melissa, she went and looked around the city, and we literally just brought the locals to Fremont Street to celebrate Halloween, and it went off without a hitch. Everybody had a wonderful time, and Corner Bar was absolutely fantastic to work with. So it was just an honor to work as small business owners with such a strong, local business operation to create such an amazing local experience. And we were graced by Caesar.
That's true.
It was
I don't get in costume very much. It's funny because
I'm sitting here, I'm like, I'm coming next year. I don't care if you host it or not.
For so many years, I've been in the wedding industry, and every single Friday, Saturday, Sunday is almost booked. I'm very grateful for that, right? It's like first world problems. Like, oh my God, I'm so busy. But before I took a big step back from the wedding industry, I was booked every weekend. So I feel like it's a staple. It's part of your closet. If you live here in Las Vegas, you've pieced together costumes over time. Everyone's got their onesie, or probably a couple of them for all these onesie parties. Everyone's got their ugly Christmas sweaters, all those things. Everybody's got all this stuff. I never had anything. That was like the first costume that I've actually bought, and I went to Freaks on Fremont, and that's why I wanted to bring it up. Not because I had a great time, but because it felt so flawless, right? I didn't see anybody get speed tackled or fights or any of that stuff. It was just a very cool experience. Knowing events, I know there was a lot of logistics behind it. There's a lot of meetings that went behind all that stuff. But that's the kind of things that most people don't see, and most people don't know that that's what's possible, not just here in Las Vegas, but it's very possible when you work with the people at this table.
Absolutely.
That is so awesome.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So like tomorrow, I'm sitting down with Joshi, which is, he's on the Fremont side to Neonopolis. And we're talking about just expanding that area. How do we bring more locals to that area? Because now Fremont is getting a lot wider. And, meeting with the guys like the grand opening at like Substance and all that stuff. I just wanted to understand the culture here, just because I'm still learning hospitality in this town. So sitting down with like Substance and all that stuff, it's just another EDM club, so you kind of understand where business comes from out of the mouth of the people that's been running downtown, and just all of that, and checking out the real estate. Now Midtown's coming up, and all I geek after all the buildings down there. So I was driving different pockets, learning the streets and where the buildings are going and why they're going there, and just trying to get my hands on that,
Yep.
So I love that part of town. So I need a tour.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I get
We'd love
really
to-
We'll meet at Atomic Liquors.
Social Studio.
I'm just kidding.
I
We'll
don't
go to
know.
the Atomic Liquor after.
I know. No, so true.
This morning I texted him. I was like, I basically live in Arizona, so give me a second to get over there.
No, okay. So with that being said, you guys obviously have done a lot. There's more things coming. You can always set your clocks to the first and third Sunday.
Yep.
Where can people find you? Where can they connect? And what's the best panel for all that?
Yeah, so
It'll all be in the show notes too.
love that. But yeah, you can connect with us on Instagram. That's like the big platform. Social exchange group here, and personally, Tay_Goodyear. Personal plug.
Also, socialexchangegroup.com.
Yes, that
Gotta
as
check out the
well.
website.
We've been putting a lot of work into the website recently, and it's really looking good. It's really coming together. We launched a new blog. It's called What's the Buzz? So you can find out what the buzz is around town. And actually, I have Melissa working with us on that too. And
Very cool.
she is just an incredible writer, and she's helping with a lot of the content. So so grateful for her, and so happy to have her as like a part of our group.
I love it.
And I'm going to tie in with the website too, because to your question about getting to know the city, one of the things that Taylor came up with an idea for last year, and it actually started off as just a social media campaign for us, is going into small businesses. Very selfless plug, because we absolutely love these guys. But Stay Tuned Burger down at Hard Hat Lounge, if you think you're a local and you haven't been there, you're not a local yet. You
Yeah.
have to go to Hard Hat Lounge.
Wait, really quick. Have you been there? Oh, no.
Right, so
Okay.
we're going to localize you. Don't worry.
Please just pick me up one day. I'll meet you guys somewhere, and
We'll
you have
do a
me for
little tour.
6 hours.
Yeah.
I'll wear stretchy pants.
You
whatever.
guys could pull off a cool tour in 6 hours
Absolutely.
downtown.
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
really sick.
And
Ooh, time to coach ride.
Are we going to take a field trip?
Yeah.
Pursue Vegas
Absolutely.
field trip.
Yeah.
Probably should.
absolutely go
there
by
it
and
is.
talk to
Take this
everybody.
uncultured swine out of the hole, please. Somebody.
But basically, it started with us just going in and featuring local businesses for national holidays like National Cheeseburger Day. And so we went into Stay Tuned Burger. We worked with the guys in their tiny little kitchen that they just batch out nothing but love out of that kitchen. And it was one of their most popular videos, and we didn't do it for a cost. It wasn't anything aside from we love them and we wanted to celebrate them for a national social holiday that you didn't know you needed to know about.
Yeah.
And so that actually ended up transitioning into this year doing National Social Holidays, which is why we did our National Rubber Ducky Day with Abel Baker. And so on social
You guys coordinated
exchange-
that?
We coordinated all of it.
What?
Yeah.
I saw it and
That
I
was
knew it was
social
happening.
exchange.
I probably saw it, but I guess this is the thing, and this has only happened in 2 other projects before, right? And one of them was a media company back home in Oklahoma. It's like it was so clean, like you didn't even realize that that was their business.
That's
so like
incredible.
when I saw it, it probably just now to me it's like synonymous with this is awesome, and like it just feels right. But then now that I play it back in my head, I'm like, oh yeah, duh. Of course they
That's
did
the
it.
magic
I love
of
that.
special events.
Yes.
Is that it's supposed to feel
Yeah.
effortless. That means
Yeah.
more effort went into it.
Yeah.
Well, it's also too that this city trains us with all the billboards and the strip mentality that it's supposed to be shine all the light on yourself. Now,
Yeah.
given we're in a room full of lights and luckily they're shining on all of us.
Yeah.
But when it comes to it, like that is the special spot for Social Exchange to come in and really shine light on your business. And so for February, we're working with Logo for the Galentine's event. And so I say all this because if you go to socialexchangegroup.com, you can find a national social holiday that fits your small business. Taylor's gone through and found 25 or more.
Like 40 plus.
So
Okay.
we're doing something for pizza.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
You-
actually in February.
I know.
National Pizza Day is
I
coming
know.
up.
We're doing something for pizza.
And you're the coolest pizza guy I know.
There's
Straight
there's
up.
there's something. This has just happened. I haven't even talked to you guys about this. I found a new restaurant that has a stage that can do karaoke, can do live music,
Nice.
but it's a Cajun shrimp boil place in Chinatown, which I love Chinatown. I do. Worst parking in the world.
So true.
Literally worst parking in the world. But there's ways around that. You just have to get creative with it. There's the hookah place. There's all these places. Like now that you're talking national holidays, like my brain is racked. I know there's something that we can start digging up.
And that's the part for the businesses is that obviously, with our team, we can only accommodate so much in a single month. But we want to inspire businesses to see that, oh, wait, I didn't realize that there was a national whatever day that fits my brand. Create that video, hashtag social exchange, tag social exchange group. So then that way we can see that.
Yeah.
And we want to have more businesses engage so we can exchange their social experience. And so it's just been fantastic for us to be able to show businesses some additional support because it is a very lonely, and I don't know, there's so many things I could say, but it's a very lonely road if you don't have a good team of people around you. And so Social Exchange is truly there to show you that you have the support, and we're here to support you. In addition, if you need more social media management, photography, videography, and so on. And then for me, Das Erbe Collective. But we spell it CLLCTV, so it's the short, and we just took all the vowels out.
I think it's the Das Erbe part that you might.
So Das DAS Erbe ERBE. Yeah, no H.
Normal spelling. Just kidding.
German spelling, and the reason for it again is that it means the heritage. And so for our stories, all of us, like I said, are connected through cars. And
My last name sounds German,
it does,
but it's not.
It sounds very
We
Berlin-like.
have a little squirrel over there while Dave marinades his own thoughts.
But for a lot of locals that are going to
Did
be
I say that
listening
out
to
loud?
this,
Did I?
I did. I think it was an echo. But for locals that are looking to just come out and find something to do that it's family friendly, some of our events are 21 and up just because of the venues, and but we're always looking to welcome a significant other, a partner, a friend, a kid to come. And Gears and Grinds is a place that's all ages. Our slogan is all gears with wheels are welcome. And it's open to anybody that wants to come out of all ages. And it's every first and third Sunday from 8 a.m. to 11 at Baguette Cafe on Sunset. And then you can find us at gearslv.com. And so there's so many more things that you can find us on, but just find us in a couple of them, and then we'll tell you about the rest.
Double, triple check the show notes. Everything is there. But yes, this is, I'm excited. There's so many things that we can get into. And we're going to have to recollab and strategize all the stuff for everything coming through the community, Global Entrepreneurship Week, what that looks like in the future. And yes, I'm going to need to borrow a car so I can fit into your little club.
That's his one ask.
Oh my gosh, wait, we have to plug the paddock.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, so we also have our Paddock Auto Club, and that's for those that want to have benefits throughout the city. Although the city has so many things to distract us, it has kind of boring roads. Everything's very straight. It's very, once you figure out that Tropicana literally just cuts through this entire city.
So does Desert Inn.
And Rainbow, they all do, it seems. And, you get a little bored when it comes to being a car enthusiast that wants to get that car out of the garage. And so with our Paddock Auto Club membership, It's a monthly fee that you pay in order to be able to have access to exclusive benefits. So we don't promote what those discounts are, and I'm just going to call it that, because essentially we want to drive traffic into local businesses that provide us some sort of special offer for our members to be able to come in and feel special. I think we all can kind of remember the days of showing your license and feeling a little bit special. Now you go to the Strip and show your license and they go, why are
Who
you
are you?
here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, why are you here?
That'll be
They're like,
$200.
why are you showing me this?
Yeah. And so we're trying to reestablish the idea of, feeling special because you are connected. And so the Paddock Auto Club card is something that you can show throughout the city to get these benefits. And we're consistently working on bringing more people onto that or businesses. So it's ever evolving, and it's also how we host a lot of our more exclusive activations where people want to come out and meet great people. They can do that through us, but then sometimes we want to make it just about our members to show them how special they really are for supporting this initiative.
We'll have to intro them to Tim.
was thinking that.
Same thing, right? Keys to Las Vegas. There's a lot of cool synergy and energy
And
behind
this
that.
is the power of being a connector.
Yeah.
Tyler, thank you so much for being here today. You guys know where to find me and Dave on pursue.vegas, all over Instagram, LinkedIn, wherever you want to plug in with us. Before you go down the rabbit hole in the show notes, please connect with them personally. We don't bite. Only maybe me when I'm hungry. But let us know if we can connect you with anybody in this town. If there's anything we can help you with, feel free to reach out. Anything else? Any last words? Famous last words? Before Dave takes us on another rabbit hole?
Are we going to pursue Vegas at Gears and Grinds?
Yes.
I think we should do a podcast.
Yeah, so whoever had that little yellow car?
Little,
Yeah, he wants
the little
that.
yellow car? The $6.5 million Ferrari?
I'm totally kidding.
He sent it to me. He was like, "We need a mascot." I'm like, "That's out of our budget."
I immediately said, "Hey, can I borrow $250,000? Like, we need a mascot." And the idea of Pursue Vegas was to really highlight the local people that really make Vegas Vegas.
I love that aspect of how these visionaries are actually bringing people together.
When we hit record, our responsibility is to connect the people of our city so we can show the world who we really are.